I honor benevolent beings who ends up seeing this video whenever you end up seeing this video, if you're a good being. And you know what that means. And we're not going to waste too much time on describing all that. This is from my perspective and understanding of swap. I felt like it's something that I should speak on as well because, you know, in our carnal sense, when we hear this kind of common language talked about across all platforms of social medias and groups, there's a very surface and materialistic connotation behind destiny swapping. So, destiny swapping, again, understanding and what I've heard even other people talk about, not just myself, is varied. Okay, not everyone desires the same thing. That's something that also needs to be highlighted. Not everybody is coveting the same types of things, if you will. Okay, but it is common to materialize or make it more about carnal or surface things as to why people would want a destiny swap or switch, changing places, right? It's the connotation of you have what I want. Listen, but follow. You have what I want, so I want to somehow hijack that. The first myth that I want to highlight is maybe it's not what you currently have. When you're talking about the spiritual community, when you're talking about spiritual and esoteric, metaphysical, you know, when you're looking at the more unseen or virtue type of energies, where it's a virtue versus a house, a car, a job, a social circle, connect, even physical appearance, because you know these are still material. They're still physical. Okay, those are all readily and easily seen with the naked eye. Okay, and people do destiny reasons. There are folks who they're not dealing with their own stuff and they may not know the language, but that's what they're doing. Know the technical terms and the lingo, but that is their behavior. That's the frequency. That's the resonance. That is their actions. Okay, and it's in my humble opinion that people who are possibly dealing with some more serious things that they never dealt with on a darker side. Okay, because I'm all about mental health. Um,
The red button.
yep. I support mental health awareness and all that stuff. So I'm not a person that's out here trying to who are dealing with legitimate things that have been developed as a result of abuse or the result of, you know, they were born a certain way. I don't clown that population. I clown abusive mofos in the universe. And I'm just going to keep saying that. My vulgarity, you know, things that sometimes people hear me kind of go wild and out every blue moon, is against the abusers of this realm. Okay, it ain't got nothing to do with somebody's chosen religion, their chosen politics, their philosophical bents, whether they believe God, they don't believe in God. It don't have any of those things. For me, it don't even have nothing to do with race, creed, color, ethnicity, gender, you know, sexual preference. For me, okay, when I'm clowning these abusers in this universe that look like they're together. Okay, that's me. Okay, they look like they're smart, intelligent, and they got all these accomplishments and, you know, blah, blah, blah. So, now, but back to the topic at hand. Not neurodivergence. I am a neurodivergent. Oftentimes, people do want to trade places, but it's for more of the spiritual giftedness side of things. And when you deal with people who are into the dark arts, even if it's a secret double, triple, quadruple life of theirs, they saw someone's destiny or potential and they wanted it. And they wanted to trade places. And that's when people will get root workers, these occult practitioners, and be going to town for years to basically put that person in the position that they're supposed to be in, and to basically suck up the dharma, the essence, the luck, the opportunities, the aura, or should we can't really say aura because it's like it's fake, it's false, it's faux what they did. Okay, but for all intents and purposes, they do get to fool the world because most of the world is not going to be able to discern past the illusion. Okay, because remember, these are rituals that some do. So when you're talking about destiny swapping, somebody could want to destiny swap with somebody that maybe had a certain personality trait that they always wanted. And they started doing stuff to cause misfortune to try to maybe dampen that for that person so that they can kind of makeshift step into as they continue to copy and steal and follow and hoover that person to kind of makeshift copy that essence. Okay, and the receiver of the, should I say, the victim target, they are experiencing the stuff that was never theirs to experience. So now fast forward, when someone like that starts to say, people are destiny swapping, it's still real. Because what it is people have, and they're trying to keep it by creating misfortune and all of the things that are actually just and due for them. Now, to the naked eye, so this is how they get to fool everybody. Why would I want to destiny swap with such a person? They don't have anything. Why would I want to destiny swap with such a person? They're homeless. Why would I want to destiny swap with such a person? They're going through blah, blah, blah. Because these are all the things they put spells and pay people to do. And then when the rest of the world is looking, that don't have depth and discernment and don't know how to, kind of sense and feel into anything beyond what they can immediately see with their naked eye, then they're going to be like, yeah, that doesn't make sense. Why would somebody want to destiny swap with somebody who's displaced? Maybe they've been destiny swapped with them for over 10 years, which is why the person is displaced. Because sometimes it's not the material world that people covet. Sometimes it's not the fame, it's not the fortune, it's not the notoriety, it's not the social circle. Sometimes it's not somebody's business they managed to get. It's not, their appearance that they pay good money to doctors to create for them. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes I laugh at that because it's like, yeah, I laugh hard. Because some of these people forgot they long-standing time dealing with surgeons to make them look the way they look, then made they dumbass. Made they dumbass forget. But see, that's a byproduct. It's like, they got amnesia as a result of 10 years of surgery to make them look like what they looked at, like on top of 10 years of glamours. Okay, now. Destiny swap. Back to it. So the destiny swap. Now, viewer discretion is advised. As I said, we have to expand our understanding. Everybody ain't coveting the same kind of shit. Even toxic people. Some toxic people be coveting. They be having all the shit. And so to the world, this is what makes the world scratch their head. For somebody that's got so much, what the fuck be wrong with their ass? This is the question of the hour. Because sometimes it's not about, sometimes it's the have not, it's the haves that have not. Which is why they get into this weirdy kind of thing in the first place. The haves, when I say it's the people with everything sometimes that has nothing. And which is why they then seek, okay, to do, whoever they're coveting. If these people are, coveting somebody's gift, it's a shame because we all come with stuff, right? But it doesn't matter. If these people are coveting somebody's intelligence, their giftedness, appearance. People's appearance covet that because they'll start doing a shit ton of spell work and poison and all the blah, blah, blah. That's the thing. Then sit back and say, why would I covet? They don't have to covet because they then destiny swapped it because when they did covet, so they can sit in a fake position. We gotta be careful. Some of us, well-intending, well-meaning, we'll sit there because narcissists, some of these people are narcissists whether they're diagnosed or not. Some of these people are on the dark triad, whether, was I expecting a call? I think, apologize for that 20-minute pause. I don't know how these things work. I think I'm going to end this one and start over since it was a whole 20 minutes.